Think gadget reviews, news, and all about it.
Nextbit Robin review. Hype plus great features and a good price is a powerful combo. Its USP is that this is a phone obsessed with backing up to the cloud. Selling for around £320, though, there are a few too many teething troubles to deal with right now. Head in the clouds. Read the blurb about the Nextbit Robin phone and you'll see its USP is to offer a real cloud-led approach. What this basically means is that it backs up all your data to Nextbit Robin servers. Even though Google offers an awful lot of that anyway. What seems to get more people who meet the Nextbit Robin excited is its design. Unusual colors and a cute look are sure to spark off some sort of reaction. And probably a good one. I've been using the white, teal version, and its colors manage to use a pastel tone that seems cool. Rather than the phone equivalent of one of those house redesign shows where a couple of smug estate agent types fill homes with feature walls to get some poor sap to pay an extra £50,000 for them. The Robin also manages to feel expensive while being made of plastic, using tough-feeling soft-touch polycarbonate. It's a pretty-looking phone. Brick. Not every part of the design is a smash, though. The Nextbit Robin is a 5.2-inch screen phone but seems much larger. It strikes me as more of a chunkster than the 5.5-inch Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge Plus. This is down to two main things. First, the Nextbit Robin has a dead boxy shape. Square edges always make a phone feel relatively thick, where tapered ones can trick your hands into only really appreciating the thinnest point. This is the reason why I don't love the larger Sony Xperia Z designs. Then there are those big speaker outcrops above and below the screen. The large size is a design choice, not some odd drawing board mistake. It's just not one I like that much. Maybe the trade-off is worth it for some, because the Nextbit Robin does have some of the best phone speakers going. As well as being very loud, they have more mid-range muscle than most other phones out there. I have issues with this phone, but I have enjoyed its speakers a lot. Special moves. It also has hardware bits and bobs some phones at the price lack. I'm talking about a fingerprint scanner. It's fast, accurate and sits on the side of the phone a bit like the one on the Sony Xperia Z5 Premium. I find bunging a scanner on the side feels less intuitive and quick than one on the front or the back. Much like the design shape, I can appreciate what Nextbit Robin has done without being totally enamored with it. It has 32GB memory, which as someone who uses Spotify and Netflix rather than loading music and video files onto a phone, I would find more than adequate even without any of Nextbit Robin's cloud shenanigans. You get just under 25GB to actually use, although for most of this test I've been using it with the several metric tons of content loaded onto the phone to show how it'll work when fully loaded. Colors so bold. The screen doesn't suffer from any eyebrow-raising tech elements. It's 5.2 in across, has an IPS LCD panel and is full HD, not QHD. But it's still sharp, bright and bold. Colors are punchy without looking toxic and contrast is very good for an LCD. Sure, the very best Samsung screens are better, but it's a top-quality display in its own right. There are also a couple of modes too, standard and dynamic. I haven't been able to work exactly what these are up to other than changing the color and contrast a bit, as its effects seem to vary depending on light conditions, but either mode looks good. This is one of the few parts of the phone that doesn't seem to be making some sort of statement. It's just good, no messing around. The Emperor's New Clouds. We're back to the more difficult, provocative style with the Nextbit Robin's software. It runs Android 6.0 Marshmallow, but is far from the norm. You get 100GB of cloud data onto which the Robin Auto stores your stuff, photos being the obvious things to save. However, it's also used to park apps you don't use. The Robin monitors the apps you use and those you never touch, and after a while the unused ones end up grayed out. Literally, their app icons go monochrome. This means their data is removed from the internal storage and evaporated into the cloud. There is a benefit over just uninstalling the apps too, as any cached data, game saves and so on, should return to if you restore them by tapping on the app's icon. Several people I've talked to while using the Robin have commented this sounds like a great idea. However, in practice it means your Robin ends up looking like the app version of an elephant's graveyard, with perhaps several full pages of grayed out apps icons. This obsessive app spring cleaning makes the phone seem like it isn't really your own. The Nextbit Robin's data cleansing is a bit like returning home only to find your mom has tidied away everything in your room that wasn't neatly stowed. So yes, maybe I install a load of crap on my phone and gradually learn to sort of dance around the 20 apps I used once and then didn't bother to uninstall. I get maybe this isn't the best way to run a phone. But the Nextbit solution isn't really a solution. And more to the point, the root of the problem for the lot of the app jugglers I know isn't apps, but photos. To generalize horribly, I find photos are the problem on phones, while apps and games end up being the storage hogs on tablets. Photo library. The Nextbit Robin will also back up your photos automatically, and is set to do so when plugged in to avoid eating too much battery. Let's not pretend it's anything special, though. Not only does Google Photos do this rather well, at original quality if you like, several phones have also come with extra storage for that particular cloud. While I wouldn't trust Google not to sell all our cloud data to Rupert Murdoch for story sieving if it could get away with it, I do trust its servers will probably hang around longer than Nextbit's ones. Caveat, who knows, right? Google Photos' archive also seems much easier to access from other devices. I buy into the idea of a cloud phone. My issue is that the cloud elements I really want are already served perfectly well by other Android phones. All phones are cloud phones, aside from the ones Argos sells for £15. Even WhatsApp happily backs up all your inane chats these days. And the bits Nextbit has added just get on my nerves. It's far too active, where this sort of thing should be as invisible as possible. The Robin gives it an unnecessary, harsh spotlight. And back to the apps issue, what happens when the Robin parks that offline Wales map app you downloaded 6 months ago, but you only notice when you're lost up a hill surrounded by sheep droppings and zero data signal? Stop the bus, I want off. Just let me use an SD card instead. The Robin doesn't have one of these, of course, but I'd be fairly happy with the 32 GB storage anyway. And yes, you can pin apps to stop them being whisked away by the data police. But I don't want to have to. It just complicates things. Different strokes for imaginary folks. Nextbit is also clearly wants to be different with the look of its software. It's not bad, and shares a lot of basic design style elements with the latest Android M interface. Like the hardware, it's cute. But is buggy and can't resist messing with things. The way it deviates from normal Android centers around the blue 3-pip icon you'll see just above the icon dock. It looks like an app icon, but isn't. This is what gets you between the standard home screens and the apps menu. The apps drawer is like the Windows 10 or Cyanogen Mod apps menu, writing out each app's full name and letting this app scroll run on for miles. There's nothing wrong with that, and it scrolls by quickly. However, in its current state it takes up to 5 seconds for the menu itself to load. Insta-fail. It'll be fixed at some point, hopefully before any normal people get their hands on one of these phones, but Nextbit is clearly foaming at the mouth keen to get the phone out on time. Arriving just before the Samsung Galaxy S7, we can't blame it. Pity the phone isn't really ready yet. None of this has anything to do with the phone's hardware either, which includes the same Snapdragon 808 CPU used by the LG G4, and 3 GB of RAM. Plenty of CPU power, plenty of RAM, not enough software optimization.